And I want to hear from you, Larry, and then you, Darren. I think, Larry, go into your background. You said you've been in real estate. And then I want to hear from you, Darren, just to show people, tell people you guys have a proven track record in what you do.
No doubt about it. So, I've been in real estate over 20 plus years. Real estate was the first business that I built. Real estate allowed me to go into authoring several books, going from authoring books to actually going into a clothing brand. The clothing brand has allowed me to be in spaces of being able to have more speaking engagements and things like that. And so it's really, when it comes, it comes to my background and with me building a business, me and my friends always joke again that, I've never had a real job, right? So I've been in this entrepreneur space, learning and grinding and hustling for 20 plus years, just when it comes to what corporate looks like. So that's a little bit about my story, but I'll be sharing as we go throughout the night.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that. Hey, what is a real job though?
I know, right?
Yeah. But you, Darren, brother, because people need to know you have a proven track record.
Yeah, well, I thank you for having me on once again, Dr. Dunn. And similar to what Larry, I had an experience where I have worked, quote unquote, a regular job, so to speak. But I took on by following the footsteps of actually Larry W. Brooks himself. So I got to give flowers where flowers are due, because when they started Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, I was actually able to intern a lot of people.
Oh, really?
So I actually was there at the beginning of the infancy stages of Brooks and Davis. So I was able to watch him and his business partner start from the ground up. So I was able to take those tangible steps and implement them in my own life. And it ended up going into from real estate into the publishing arena or whatnot. And so I have a background where I was speaking myself.
Yeah.
And, so it's good pedigree. I come from good food, so that's all too far from the tree. And so I learned a lot from those gentlemen. And so I was speaking, started self-publishing 30 days because people was asking me about books. Yeah. And then we were able to grow and cultivate that into being the #1 self-publishing company in the world. So that's a little bit about me. We've been in business over 8 years on the self-publishing side.
Amen.
But it's been more than 15 years for me being an entrepreneur. So that's just a little bit of background.
I love it. Good evening, Patrice. She is on here. Thank you to everyone who is watching. Enemy ain't gonna stop what I got going. I knew someone right when I had 0. Come on, let's be honest. Look, y'all, 0 is not in my vocabulary unless it's a number in front of the 0, right?
No, that's right.
Yeah, we don't do 0. But anyway, thank you, Patrice. She said she's listening at work. She's gonna catch the replay tonight. Don't you worry, sister. I'll be uploading this to YouTube, to my YouTube channel, and to my podcast platform, so you all can hear that if you miss it tonight. But if you do have a question for our business experts, please feel free. And this is what's interesting I find about you two, right? I had no idea you interned for Larry, but people who really want you to win are not going to hate on you. Like Larry sees you coming up. Okay, real estate may not be your thing, but I see what you're doing, brother. Yeah. Right? And then like you gave credit to Larry. You didn't sit here and act like Darren, right? And that's some of the problem. We like to act like we got it all together. That's a challenge for us. Yeah. Do y'all find some? Yeah, we've got to be better.
And and it should be a challenge, right? Because the thing is that everything always comes full circle, right? Yeah. Like I become a 4-time author, 3-time through Darren because of the wisdom and the services. And even my first few speaking engagements, they were because of a tour that Darren put together that he allowed me to take part in. So, these things, us allowing each other to grow or find, you find great like-minded people and y'all just bond and y'all keep going. And so that's been an opportunity that I've had with Darren in many, many, many years worth of this relationship.
That's good. And we're going to talk about partnerships too, but I just love the dynamic between you two, right? We have to work together. So what does it mean, first and foremost, to scale our business? Darren, you, and then Larry, what does it mean? Because we hear scale, but what does it mean to scale our business?
Oh, man, that's an awesome question. We coming out smoking right now, in a good way. But
because are we supposed to even, if it's not scalable, what are we doing?
There you go. And one of the things, Dr. Dunn, I think that you share, for it to be scalable, you got to know where you are. If you are at an amusement park, if you at the mall and you are lost, you have to start, where are you first? And then you're able to navigate to the next destination or the next point or the next marker. So with that being said, what scale? For one, you got to have a viable product and service or a company first. I think so many people are running around and they're saying it's a difference now between being a solopreneur than actually being an entrepreneur or a business owner. And I think people, they think because they're selling some widgets online and they could be doing 100 grand or whatnot a month or whatever that may be. But it's different when it comes to scale, because scale means that you're going to have the leadership skills and quality to be able to actually be a king and a queen maker. You're going to have to empower other people to be able to replace you in every area of the business. And so many people will allow what you brought up, Dr. Dunn, earlier. They will allow ego to get in the way. And I want to hear pat me on my back that it's me, 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 and me. But no, an actual business owner is training other people to be able to use their skills in different areas of the business. And slowly but surely, you might have wore all the hats, but if you are effective and you are an expert, you don't wear all the hats. You empower other people to wear those hats. And that is a viable system. And that's what most people who are solopreneurs and others don't have. They don't invest in systems to be able to be scalable.
I tell you. And because if something happens and you have to go out of state to handle a family emergency, you shouldn't have to shut things down, right? But yeah, so I like that. But you said the word empowered. People want to be empowered. And I heard a great businessman, he said, my team likes to be empowered. That's why he's successful. But Larry, how is a business scalable? How do you know it's scalable?
You know, and it's much like everything. I'm really going to just add to a lot of what Darren just said when it comes to being able to scale. Yeah. And even when I first got into the real estate industry, one of the things that attracted it to me is being able to one day duplicate myself, right? Be able to go from being Larry W. Brooks to being 70 other agents that's doing business across the state of Texas, because we have offices in Austin as well. So one of the things that you can identify with when it comes to being able to be scalable, are you a person that's open to being teachable and coachable so that you can be teachable and coachable and help other people's out, right? You got to be able to see the vision, and other people's got to be able to see your vision. How are you able to interpret your vision to other people, or your successes onto other people so that they have the same opportunities? And so for one of the things that we've done and that I've always desired, I was a very successful solopreneur when it came to being a realtor, very successful. But the thing is like Darren said, I put systems into place. And if you got systems, even when Larry is out of town or you see Larry traveling across the country and you're never identifying him at home, the systems that I have in place don't miss a beat. I can come up missing for 6 months and you won't notice that I'm gone because the systems are in place that's going to allow the machine to keep going. And so when you have those things in place, it's much, much easier to duplicate yourself or duplicate the industry that you're in, or even duplicate the processes, because everything is processes. As long as you got the right processes and you're able to be able to get those processes duplicated, it's not difficult at all. And it's not for everybody. Everybody may be in the industry and they might like being that person that wants to be hands-on. But for me, when I think about retirement or I think about exit strategy, duplicating yourself or expanding is the opportunity for you to get to that point. Yep.
Okay. But Darren, let's hit on that. Because a lot of times when we see these shows and this advice people are giving, right, they tell them what to do, but they don't tell them how to get there. So we're talking about processes and systems. How do they get the system? Do they get a mentor? Do they look online? Should they take classes? Where? Because let's be honest, many of us, everybody doesn't have it like you. Like I said, Larry, you have a gift of anointing over you. If you have never worked for anybody in your life, that's an anointing. That's a gift everybody doesn't have. Darren, to be in business 8 years, it's not a gift everyone has. Many of us, I'm a first generation entrepreneur, right? My mom and daddy worked for the same company for 20 years and they told me to go do the same until, a few years ago, I'm like, well, I want to own, you know what I mean? So that's so we're learning as we go along. So, or you have a mentor or what have you, but what do you suggest? If I want to have real estate systems, do I meet with you, Larry, for a consult? Or Darren, if I want to start a publishing company, do I get a mentor? What tips to get the systems?
Oh man, that's a fantastic question. For one, let's go to ground zero with this.
Okay.
Okay, you are already working in the business.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where you got to have discipline though. The D word.
Okay.
You need to start writing down what you're doing. So if you normally start the day, your miracle morning, if you start the day with checking emails first, or this is how you typically respond, like that certain type of email, like the email that you submitted to us, Dr. Dunn, that email is not brand new every time you submit it.
Right.
You have it and you copy and paste. Okay, this is a good email. I have thought about this email. Now I save this email. I archive it in my Gmail or whoever you use it. And then all of a sudden somebody else can follow behind you. Everything else is lined up. They just exchange the name. I have ma'am or sir, so you don't even have to know the name. Now all of a sudden that is something that you don't have to think about. You can be on autopilot and anybody else can step in and repeat. You keep knocking out those different things for as your priorities of the things that you do on a daily basis. You write them down, you archive them, and then when someone else comes in, now you're able to teach that person to be able to replace and send that email for you. So now you don't have to send that particular email. You brought up another interesting point that I got to get out. Yeah. And Larry will be able to speak for himself on this, but this is something I've noticed, Dr. Dunn, with every entrepreneur. And this is where I'm going to speak to our people on right now.
Okay.
Just because you didn't work for somebody don't mean that you didn't learn from somebody.
That's right.
From the people in the back.
That's right.
A lonesome dove type of story for those who were watching the westerns back in the day or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm going back on y'all. On my grandma, I'm going back on y'all. But at the same time, it's not about that. What you find is you go and get consulting. You invest in yourself. Conferences, workshops, and then invest in yourself to make sure that you get the information that you need. I saw something with Master P where he shared he met Michael Jackson that allowed for him to be able to make millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. So what was that investment worth? But what we have to renew our mind in Christ Jesus. You're prosperous. You're being healthy. What is your soul? Your mind, your will, your emotions, your imagination, and your intellect. So you are prosperous and being healthy as your mind, your will, your emotions, and your imagination, and your intellect prosper. So if you are not willing to learn the information that's at hand, then you are not renewing your mind, so you won't get a new result. And that's where I'm thinking.
Come on now.
You're gonna watch all the freebies. There's only so many downloadables for free and YouTube videos you can, because you're gonna perform different when you put some money down.
Facts.
That's what we're trying to avoid. You might even tell your kids this. If you didn't want to play football, if you didn't want to play basketball, if you didn't want to do AAU, I done sat out there outside of that HEB and sold all those brownies. Oh, you gonna go play because I put my money down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And see, and when we do the same thing, you get a different result. But we're trying to get the result without the investment. We got a crowd out here. So let me just share with you 2 Corinthians chapter 9, 7 through 9. You got to that you sow bountifully, you're gonna reap bountifully. If you sow sparingly, you're gonna reap sparingly. So it's all about you. God is saying it's about what you want, boo-boo. It's the same thing spiritually, soulish, and the same thing in business. So you see a great harvest with a Larry W. Brooks Sr. because he has invested everything to be here at this point right now. And that's what we're missing. That's the secret to the sauce.
And let me tell you something. I'm feeling something here. And I'm telling you, because that was one of the things I wanted to touch on. We look at it as a cost, but it is an investment, right, Larry?
That's right.
So if you want to go into real estate and Larry says, schedule a consultation with me, but you trying to get it for free, this is his business. He's very successful at it. You're going to have to invest time with Larry. You're going to have to invest in that time with Darren. It's an investment because like my pastor says, we buy what we want and then we beg for what we need. You paying for things to make you look good when people have services that can help you really be good. That's what I'm talking about. Priorities. Oh, I don't want to pay for that. Okay, but you went to Papa-Do's and spent $60 on some. But anyway, y'all, and no shade to Papa-Do's. I love my Papa-Do's. But trust me, I'm going to pay for a consultation with Larry if I need to. You see what I'm saying? So Larry, talk about that mindset of you have to pay, and it's an investment.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's much like Darren said, he knows I spend money going to these conferences. I go to real estate conferences, National Sales Network conferences, nonprofit conferences. I spend a lot of money going out and picking brains. So it was never a point to where I was shy about reaching out to other people to get the resources that I need. Because sometimes I can't find those resources in the same city with me. Or they're at the one point our culture was afraid of competition, so we didn't share back in the day. And so I would spend money to be in Atlanta or be in New York City with different people that's doing the exact same thing that wouldn't mind sharing their business model to me. Right. And one of the things that Darren touched on too, you have got to be consistent and you have got to be focused on writing things down. That's how you really create systems. I remember when one of my first assistants was we call them VOAs, a virtual assistant. A virtual assistant is usually in another country, and you could they can do anything as long as they can read it. So do you know how intense you have to be to write down each and every step, the dash, to hit the space bar, dot the T? Yes. But once you do it, it's done one time. We've used that exact same system for the last 12 years. It just took us 5 months to put it into place, but now it's been working for us for 12 years. Whenever someone new comes into this office, we hit a button and they're able to see all of the systems. No one needs to miss a beat when it comes to the way that they do their business. But like Darren said, I think the ultimate thing is I've always been open to learning from other people. So it's funny that one of the things that I learned from you as well is I've been a part of your show and watching your show. My email, when I send it to the people that we're inviting on as guests on the Prime Real Estate Network, it looks just like yours, right? Like I was able to learn from someone that is amazing. Yours is amazing. It's untouchable. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, these amazing points. You know, why recreate the wheel when I have a friend that has already done it perfectly? And so we just kind of did like what Darren said. We just remodified it, but it looks it was beautifully done. And so I learned from the people that are around me, my successful friends. You're my successful friend. Darren is my successful friend. So, but again, when it comes to me paying for new resources or understanding something, I have no problem with the dollar amount because I know it's going to come back in tenfold.
Yeah. And I thought one of the shows y'all did was a question I asked on mine. Like, is this my show? Oh, it's Larry. Oh, okay. But who cares, right? Because sometimes when I think about if you really when I send you questions, if you think about it, like what I'm sending you, use it for yourself. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what I'm thinking because I'm so detailed. Or when somebody sends me something, I'm really kind of giving you ideas. You know, when I'm, and I used to be like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't write all this down. But I say, you know what? I ain't got time. I don't have time for that. And I'm telling you, and that's a compliment, Larry and Darren. We have to be different. We have to be detailed, and we have to be, but it's some thought behind what we do. Yeah. And I'm glad to see your show is interviewing people outside of real estate now, right? Yeah. So that's what I like to see. And I'm glad you're here because I can tell you that, but I meant to tell you. But that's good. And Darren, this is a question I have for you, and I really want you to kick this off. You know, we talk about a downturn. The pandemic exposed who was prosperous and who wasn't.
Ooh.
Let's be honest about it.
It did.
It exposed a lot of things, and natural disasters expose things and I'm not going to go into detail, but I'm just saying it can expose some things. We have to lay a foundation. So Darren, how do you run your business in a downturn though, right? How do you run your business in a downturn? Because people are screaming, my business is shut down, the pandemic. Some people adapted, some people have not.
Yeah. Dr. Dunn, I'm telling you, phenomenal questions. That's why you are the Hey.
The interview can end right now. I'm done. Right. Show over. Drop the mic. We done.
But Dr. Dunn, when you bring that up, this is right. For one, I think that you need the mental dexterity, the mental toughness to be able to do business. Yeah. And I go back to that renewing your mind once again, because you have to actually invest on yourself. Like Larry brought up earlier, you have to have consistency. And most people don't have discipline to have consistency. So what I mean is you got to work on your spiritual, you got to work on your social, mental health. You got to be investing in yourself. So guess what? When that downtime comes, stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Amen. That's good.
The names change, but the game remained the same.
Yeah.
Like right now,
That's
you got
good.
people who running from the markets, but this is where the wealth is transferred because you got to have a mental focus to know, okay, when everybody is running from the market, that's when it's a sale. So I need to go and buy in that market. But if
hold on, that's good.
Yeah.
So when everybody is running, that's when maybe you need to say, wait a minute, let me not leave with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So when the real estate market gets tough, you don't leave with everybody else. You say, well, wait a minute, they going, but I can actually use this opportunity because you'll be the one in the spotlight. And when it comes back, because it always, right? It'll always
comes back. Yep.
You're gonna have your ups and downs.
That's
and when the market goes back up, if Larry's standing, he's been doing it. So he doesn't have to come back and start over. He's like, I didn't leave.
Yeah. Now that stock market, all of that, I totally agree with Darren. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
This is that time when you scoop up. Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead.
No, I was just going to it. But that's the time that you do. But you got to have the right mindset. Yeah. Because this is the thing. If you allow for, you can't be ruled by emotions. You got to be ruled by principles. So it's not about how I feel. It's about what I need to actually execute on. What does the principle say? But if we live in a society where it's so emotion based that people don't want to have discipline. So it's like Special Olympics. Everybody think they're supposed to get a ribbon and a hug, but that's not how the marketplace works. So like you shared about it being exposed, people aren't ready. So let's go back into that. For one, you need to stop trying to be like everybody, and you need to be looked at as an expert.
That's right.
The reason that Larry gets deals now is because he has stayed and weathered the storm. The reason I get opportunities now because I have weathered the storm. Because year after year, you get that main drip first. Then you become a serial entrepreneur. We got people who are trying to be a serial entrepreneur too fast. You get the Mississippi River flow first. Then you start creating other little spots of every little things where you branch off into other areas. So one day you selling quick weaves. The next day you selling Forex. The next day you selling motor oil. The next day you selling gym memberships. So now all of a sudden, people, a jack of all trade and master of none. This is what we talk to our community because we wear it as a badge of honor. And that works when you at Big Mama house. But when you in business, that looks like that you're not an expert. You're all over the place. So people will invest premium packages or big ticket items will be bought from people who have been vested in the industry for a while. So when a pandemic or when the market turns, those who win and get better are the ones who have established themselves as market leaders and experts. Nobody goes, Dr. Dunn, to the Mayo Clinic and asks for half off for their family members. Because the people who go to the Mayo Clinic, they have the insurance, they have the funds, and they want the best care possible for their family members. And if we can get business owners to understand positioning in the marketplace to be looked at as the industry expert, then all of a sudden you won't have a downturn. You will allow for yourself to be recession proof. Will you feel certain things? Yes, but you don't have to work as hard. You don't have to invest as much money on marketing because you are attracting the right place. And when others are getting scared and running for the doors, that's where you go and take market share in those type of markets. And that's a mindset.
That's good. But Larry, this is the thing, and that's good, Darren. But I'm going to say this. Larry, don't you think, but also you have to know you're called to it. See, if you can jump out so quickly, is that really your calling? Or are you just doing it because it's trending? If you're that quick, because you're going to have some struggles, challenges. Myself, I can speak. You're going to have times where you are booked and they love you. And you're going to have times where they like, we good. We don't like you anymore. You know what I mean? It happens. But I know if it's a calling, you're going to have some tough times. You're going to have some dry seasons in anything you do, right?
Yep.
But if you're called to it, you're going to stick with it. If you're not, you might be doing it. Is it really what you're called to do?
That's right. And you got to be able to, even if you pivot and change what your business model looks like, right?
But you don't jump ship and say, I'm just going to shut it down.
No, because I got into real estate in 2001. In 2008, we had the market correction. And when that market correction took place, I seen a lot of people take flight. But for me, I just barred down. pivot a little bit with my business model and stay consistent in this industry and didn't flinch. But
Amen.
it's one of those things, like you said, like you got, but I knew it was for me. I knew when I got into this industry and I touched it, that it was something that I loved and I could see me growing old doing, right? Me getting my gray hairs doing this industry. But it's like you said, you gotta know that it's something for you, because if it tests you and you exit it immediately, then maybe it wasn't the thing that you needed, it wasn't for you. But I have seen people that, they got into this industry, they got into it because they seen the luxuries of it. They think the automobiles and the houses that they see on HGTV is what every person that walks into an industry has. That is not the case, right? You got to put your blood, sweat, and tears. You got to put those 24. Sometimes I remember I would work and sit here in this office 24 hours getting work done. Like literally maybe having a little bit of cup of coffee, but not putting in the work, putting in the foundation, putting in the systems that allow me to have more time freedom now. But that's when I knew that this was for me. When I was putting myself in a situation where it was lack of sleep, dreary days, like that's when I knew that this was something that I was ready to dedicate my life for at a younger age. Or even when you're changing careers in your more season. If it's something you're dedicated to, you're going to find the time. You're going to put the 12 hours of work that it may need to. You're going to put in them 10,000 hours that they say in order to master that craft. It's not anything that comes overnight.
And another thing, this is what I find that can be challenging for many. And for me, personally, I had to really, because if you're many of us have more than one gift, right? And I found that I'm gifted at radio, I'm gifted at TV, I'm gifted over here at speaking and but it was so much. You're not going to do so I had to focus. What is my focus right now? You may want to run 5 businesses. Yeah. But and my friend, I was talking to him and he said God told him he needs to cut out some services. Yeah. He needs to stop doing some things. And Tyler Perry even said that that's what happens. We try to do so many things at once, like you touched on, Darren. But Oprah Winfrey, we didn't see her try to be a journalist and an actress at the same time. Yeah. She focused on what she was great at. And then other doors started opening. Same thing with Tyler Perry. He started writing plays. Then more doors opened up. So if we see truly successful people, they weren't doing multiple things at once. Yep. Now we can multitask, but sometimes y'all, and talk about that. What do you know what you need to focus on?
It was, and to touch on that, it was one of the things when I was younger, when I first decided that real estate was going to be my focus, because I was trying to do a lot of things in the beginning. And I remember watching Master P. Master P decided to dedicate himself to music, and then he was able to make the rest of he used the music industry as a vehicle to make the rest of his dreams come true. He wanted to play in the NBA. He went to the NBA. He wanted to start other product lines. He was able to start other product lines after focusing on the music industry the way that he needed to. Yeah. And so those consistencies, those things are important when it comes to building out too. Yep. Yeah.
And we have to start so I had to focus. I was doing way too much. Yeah. And it just wasn't working. But what do I focus? Because you want to do everything, right? Yeah. But it wasn't serving me well. So God and I had that conversation about what I need to focus on. And there's such peace.
And everything will work out. And sometimes you focus, sometimes you could be in your zone focusing. Like me, I started focusing on real estate. I was one-minded going into it. Darren called me one day and was like, hey, you got a brand now, man. You know what? You should author a book, right? So sometimes it's your outside circle or your circle of influence that can bring something else to you that you can then say, you know what, maybe I am ready. So finding that ideal vehicle, I always tell people that find that vehicle that's bringing in enough income to where you can now find a way to diversify yourself or duplicate yourself. But you got to find that one vehicle to focus on. I know Darren can speak a lot more.
Man. Yeah. You're speaking my language when you say that, Larry, because I think this, Dr. Dunn, the point was somebody is looking at how to start and find. I think this is the issue. And I think this is what Larry brought to our attention. Allow the marketplace to tell you.
Come on.
We got multiple gifts, okay? But I'm gonna let everybody in on a secret. Darren Palmer, I didn't have an aha from the Lord either. I didn't have no burning bush moment. But guess what happened? The people told me what they wanted.
Yeah.
When I started off, I was doing keynote speeches and I was traveling with leadership market or whatnot to schools doing freshman orientations and things like that. I kept having people say, I see you've done a book of books. I have a desire to do a book. But Dr. Dunn, I'm going to tell
That's good.
I have developed, but I wasn't right in the mindset at the time. I really was upset and I created a course and basically let me get these people out of my face because I'm tired of them asking. I'm trying to be the next Les Brown. You got to be hungry.
Yeah.
I said, Les Brown about 100 years old. I said, man, it's time for some fresh blood to get in this thing. And let me be mine. But then the people told me, then I had to realize, I had a great conversation with a good friend of mine, and we were both looking at some stuff. And I said, you know what? I've given this course. I took it off my main website because I don't want it messing up my speaking website.
Yeah.
I put it on a landing page by itself. Every time it kept on growing. And so that's what we call, quote unquote, beta testing. It started taking on life of its own. I said, you know what? I'm going to actually apply resources and really give my business acumen to this area. And so it wasn't because then I was able to collaborate with speakers because I knew what they needed because every speaker needs to have a book to be a catalyst to them getting the results that they want to have. So for those out there, I see so many people, Dr. Dunn, they are so caught up on what they want to, but I'm going to tell you something about business. You got to adapt and conquer.
Yes.
What you got to keep in mind. Just because you wrote that 5 and 10-year business plan that you came up with, when the people tell you what they want, follow the people if it's ethical and moral and aligns with who you are. But I'm just saying,
right.
I'm not telling nobody to go and create an OnlyFans account. You know what I'm saying? I didn't tell you that. You know what I'm saying? Because the man at the store told you should do that. I didn't tell you that. I'm talking about that area.
That's right.
That's what I was led to, Dr. Dunn. And it wasn't mine, but I was able to use the skill set I had to accomplish quite a bit. So I would tell people to follow that too as well. Listen to the people.
Let me say this to somebody because this is what I had to deal with, right? Let me tell you. And you touched on that being an author. And then I like that you told Larry, it's time. You're a brand, write a book.
That's right.
But we have to be very careful because people are jumping on the author bandwagon. And I'm not saying in any way, Darren, to take business from you. No business will be lost from you, trust me. But some people think they need a book to do this. They need to do this. They need to do that. What is in the content? Did God tell you to do that? Right? And I was a co-author with Darren, with Larry on the book, The Footprint of Success.
That's right.
That was the right time. Somebody came to me after that and said, we want you to be a co-author in this. I'm not led to do it. I'm already an author. God didn't tell me to do that. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes we trying to do things that God didn't call us to do. And not that there's anything with you write your book. You go do this. You start a podcast. But did God tell you you need to do that in order to win? He said, I got you. Because for the longest, y'all, I was like, well, nobody's going to take me. Nobody's going to book me. I'm not an author. I better be an author. And I had such peace. God said, you don't need that. You just keep doing what I'm telling you to do. And along the path, that's when Darren said, hey, I have this co-author opportunity. That was God. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to be mindful. You're putting out a book, but what is it about? You want to do a podcast, but what is it about? What are we doing? If you're doing it to look good, y'all, it's not, because how many years has the podcast been going on, Larry?
We're going in, I think we're about 3 years in now.
Yeah. And Darren, first you author, then he went into the interviews, right? Then you went into, so I think it's important, instead of jumping on bandwagons, we want you to invest, but invest in the right things.
Right.
That's what I'm telling people. I just have to say that to people.
No, that's very important. It's one of the things another thing that people need to take in mind. I think a lot of times when we've heard this line over and over again about you got to have several streams of income this, several streams of income that. You realize those streams of income can come from an industry or a business that you're already taking part in. You could just create new legs within that business structure. It doesn't have to be like Darren said, me doing Forex and me cutting grass one day and all these other outside of what I'm already doing. You could create legs within what you're already doing that could give you those 8 streams of income that people say that you need to be financially free. You can do that.
That's called symbiotic flows.
Come on now.
Symbiotic flows. That's what that's called.
That's why he's the self-pub. That's why he's the chief book officer.
Symbiotic flows. So let's give a real example of how that looked real quick, Dr.
Yes, yes, please.
So I can have someone invest in a publishing package, but also they can invest in one of our courses.
Yes.
We have several different courses. You want to know about book design, it's a course. If you want to learn how to do a book launch virtually or in person, there's a course. These are different streams. Also, we just launched, you got a mastermind. So you might not have or choose not to use your budget for as something with a PR person or something like that, or digital market for several thousand per month. But we got a, like a $97 membership that's recurring. So that creates a stream or whatnot. Or if you just need a cover, you don't need our full services. Some people come to us, they need just ghostwriting. And so we take care of those services. So notice, those are several ways of creating streams of income, all up under the one umbrella. That's what Larry is sharing with the symbiotic flows of income. So it's just about thinking differently. And now all of a sudden you're able to create more opportunities, and positive impact intersects with income. So that's what you have when we're talking about the symbiotic flows of income.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. And see, we can have honest conversation here, because we just have to keep it real. And let me tell you something. Courses, you're investing. Darren said investment. If you, and I tell people, before you do a podcast, see my media company to do some media training. Before you get on the mic, or you need some kind of training, because if you think you're going to get on there and it's going to be great and wonderful, we write your content, all of that, right? Because we want you to win.
That's right.
What is this podcast about? What are we talking about? What are we doing? It has to be a purpose. What's the mission? Who's your target audience? Your friends are going to tell you the flyer's cute, but are they going to listen next week? Are they going to listen the week after? People, before you do anything, you need to get some, because again, you're putting yourself out there, but how are you putting it out there? You want to look polished, and that's all I'm saying. All of us can help you. What we do, Larry, Darren, before you put that book out, maybe you need to have a consult with him. How does this book jacket look? How does this book cover look? And he'll tell you it looks blurry. Why is the picture not high res? You know what I mean? It's your brand. And he's not trying to get your money. He's telling you this doesn't look right. If you go to his website and look at all of the book covers, you are not going to see a blurry picture or not a book cover that has a high res design. I mean, these are things that we have to just understand, y'all. But this is something I have to go into, and I want to hear from both of you on this. Let's talk about the foundation. The foundation. When do you need an LLC? When do you need a lawyer? When do you need to get an account? You know what I mean? Because you don't need day one paid all the, but when should you pay for these things, y'all? And what do you need?
You want to take it, Darren? Yeah,
sure. I can go ahead with that. I would say now this is not one fit all or whatnot.
Right.
Disclaimer, because I don't want nobody coming. Well, Dr. Dunn's show, they said, and I didn't need it. My sister cousin. No, I'm not talking about that.
Hey.
I'm just gonna let you know. Just putting that disclaimer out there. But now, this is different stroke for different folks. But I'm just gonna give you an example. I'm with what you're sharing, Dr. I think a mistake that people make. For one, you need to get started.
Yeah.
Okay.
By any means necessary, get started. Okay, regardless, I've seen some people that they won't get started because they're trying to forecast and they're using all their investment capital on paying for stuff, and they don't even know if they got a viable product or service yet. So you're not getting started because I can't get started because somebody's going. It's that scarcity mindset. Somebody gonna steal my stuff, and somebody gonna run out. Well, you haven't sold one item yet. Yes. Nobody even knows about your story yet. So you need to create something, and this is something that holds up in law. At least when you create something, now all of a sudden, if you're going to court for that, it shows that it's viable because you at least got that you got a product. If it's in your mind, it's not a product, it's not a service. So you just guessing. And so I would say that first, and I've watched people, they start a business and they go to Office Depot, they go to all these other places, they buying business cards. No, you need to sell some first. You need to serve somebody first. You need to build that up. And then as you progress, then there are needs. Now, I'm going to share this from personal experience. Then it comes a time where you might have that person that's helping you with the tax. So you might be able to do it yourself. But then it gets a time where now when you start accumulating and getting intellectual property, things like that, now all of a sudden you got to start getting experts at those areas.
That's
So now
right.
you need to see, okay, do I need a series LLC? Because this is the type of business that I'm doing. Let me rely and get counsel. I had to reach out to a lawyer friend or whatnot from college. I invested with him. I didn't ask for it for free. He was able to set that stuff up. You need a trust for that, but you don't need a trust and all that at first when you don't even have anything. So
That's
ain't
right.
people letting somebody just take your money because you're not prepared. Now I got to share this one, Dr. Dunn. Also, you can't keep the same person who was doing your taxes at the mall when you run the business. You get to a certain level. Now
That's
was
true.
good at first when you was over there at the mall or whatnot. It was right by Wood Forest Bank, and you went in there. But now all of a sudden the game has changed. So you got to get people that are able to come up with creative ways, and it's legal and ethical, that they can tell you that this is how you need to position. This is what you need to do. And I had to even do that this year. I had to realize, like, oh wow, I need another CPA. I need not only do I need a CPA. Now watch this, because I'm thinking they got to be the same thing, but I also got to get somebody else who just do bookkeeping. Bookkeeping, the CPA is something totally different. So now we're looking like, oh man, now I gotta learn. I can't be putting this over here. I need to do that. So you invest, because that builds your team. But we're in a place to do that now.
Yes.
But you have to start investing in that, and then because they're going to save you thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah.
If you are willing to invest. So I would say that, Dr. Dunn. Larry, I don't know if you have anything.
Yeah, that's
you
good.
Know, I like to really see you, whatever this job or this career or this entrepreneurship you want to slide into. I would love to see you make money in it first, right? So you can start off with something as simple as a DBA, a $16 DBA you can grab from the courthouse, and just prove to yourself, starting with that you can actually sell this product or service that you have. And if you can do that, if you find that you're really making money at it, then it's nothing to go and get an LLC created. And like Darren said, in the beginning, you could probably go and do one yourself for $300. You can do your own LLC. But when you get to the point to where you're making real money and you want to protect, you want to go outside of just protecting your monies, but you want to file them on your taxes the right way. Then you want to sit down with a CPA to make sure that the numbers are right? Like when me and Mike first started out, the first thing that we got was a $16 DBA. And then we made a little bit, we started seeing that we needed to protect ourselves. So we got an LLC to protect ourselves, to make sure that we weren't losing our wealth. And then we went from that and we're like, okay, we're making money. Now we need to protect ourselves from giving it all back to the government, right? We want to pay our fair share of the taxes, but we don't want to overpay for the taxes, right? And so then you find yourself sitting down with a CPA in order to put your money in the right structure so that you're paying taxes the right way. Then much like Darren said, we found like, okay, wait a minute. I can't do what I do to be successful and make money and then got to keep up with my bookkeeping. So then we brought in someone that could keep up with our bookkeeping. Every month we sitting down, we talking to them to make sure that the numbers are adding up. So when we need that P&L statement, we just reach out to them and they can, give us our profit and loss statement immediately and things like that. So it's a steady growth as you build your business. But what I'm saying is let's at least find an opportunity to sell or be able to have people purchase the service that we're offering before we go out and spend $5,000 on, building a corporate brand and you ain't sold one bit of product. That's just not how it works.
What I'm hearing, and people, I want you to listen, those online, those through the app, those on Facebook Live, on StreamYard. Business is not complicated, but we can make it complicated.
Yep.
It's not that it's not going to come without challenges, but sometimes we can scare, oh my gosh, I don't know. Or we love to focus on the craft, so we'll ignore the lawyer and the tax stuff. And then 10 years from now, when you looking crazy, you know what I mean? What? I could have got $20,000 back from the government? Well said, says Damon. Thank you for being on here. You're gonna need to know when Larry went from making $1,000 a month, okay, to now $10,000 a month. As you go higher, that's when you need people who can take you higher, right? And when we see our counterparts doing things, okay, what are they doing? They got a good account. It's something going on. right? So you should pay attention, but also research. It's not that the knowledge is not out there, but are we going to get it?
That's right.
And that's what we have to go out and get the knowledge. It's not just going to fall in your lap. You're going to have to go out. You are going to have to find some conferences. You're going to have to pay for some conferences. There are people who are willing to help you. And if you say, Darren, I need help. I don't know a good CPA. But so also we can't be ashamed. You're going to have to open up the books.
Got to. Yep.
And maybe if you don't be ashamed if you didn't make as much. That's why you got to stop doing all this faking on social media. Stop posting what's not real, and then you're not going to be embarrassed, right? Because that CPA, don't be embarrassed or ashamed to open the books, because that's when you can address the problem. And that's what I want people to learn. You know, we can't be ashamed. Okay, you only make this much. I didn't make it. Don't be ashamed, because they're on a confidentiality agreement anyway. And if they reveal it, that you deal with that on the other end. But don't be ashamed to say, I'm having struggles, I'm having problems. Yep. And we need, and the resources are there. The resources are there. We just have to go find them. Hello, Kimberly Lotz, darling. And look, I'm telling you, this is good conversation. And I'm feeling like we got a business conference going here. I learned from y'all.
Yeah,
I really do. I learned. You think people aren't watching you, but they are watching. And I just want to let you all know that I really think you all are just great in business. You really are.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the bartering. When do you barter? And when do you say that's just not going to work? Because that's some of the challenge too. But we want the business. So we'll discount, right? We'll give a discount, or we'll do it in kind, because we got to get our name out there. But when do you barter, and when do you say, no, we're not going to do that? You're going to have to pay.
Dr. Dunn,
because doesn't that happen? First of all, hold on. Has that ever happened to you, Darren? Has somebody said barter and publish my book for free?
I understand where you're going with this, but this is an art.
Larry, has it happened to you?
We get all the time, no doubt.
Give me some free merch.
The funny thing is they leave out the bartering part. Like it doesn't equal. It got to equal out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, but have you all ever had people come to you and say, "Can you hook me up, and then I'll do this"? You're gonna have to say no.
Yeah. That's it. Dr. Dunn, when you bring that up, now, like Larry said, it has to be an equal exchange.
Yeah.
They call it bartering, but it's not equal. It's not an equal exchange. So the value isn't. It's not the law of reciprocity taking place.
Yeah, Larry, give me two hustle sweatshirts, and I'll post you on my Instagram. Larry, Instagram already hot. I mean, you don't need. What you gonna do? What is Darren need? Darren published my book for free, and I'll post it on social media. Darren, come on, y'all.
Come on, man.
Yeah. So talk about it.
Do that. I'm gonna just show you how this works. This is to show you when you with the right people and the mindset change.
Yes, mindset.
Larry has done 3 books with self-published in 30 days, and Larry has invested every single time.
Yeah.
Now I just shared that I interned for Larry. Larry showed me a nothing but love. So I always get kudos where I started from by that, being advised by Larry, whatnot, being a confidant. Okay, so we understand our relationship has been successful because we understand it. Guess what I do? I invest in merch for Pure Hustle. I buy Pure Hustle. Yeah. I promote Pure Hustle. My kids got Pure Hustle. They got their hats, their shirts, their everything. We wear Pure Hustles. When it's about time, we got new jackets and hoodies. My daughters wear when they go to school. But we don't look at that for free. You know, just like the young lady Kimberly Lotz was on here or whatnot. She had it where I told her, I said, you know what, you've been doing this or whatnot. I'm on discount. She said, no, Darren, you've added so much value. She paid the full amount for something because the value was there. So I'm sharing with you people.
Mindset.
Yeah.
Mindset is everything. Now let me bring this up though, Dr. Dunn, when we look at the bartering system. There is a time.
And hold on, let me read this comment. Facebook user Damon, he said, everyone should respect your business and prices, no matter who you are. No matter who you are.
That's a word right there. Yes, indeed.
That's a ball.
Go ahead. I just had to stop right there. We had to chew on that. But anyway, go ahead.
We had to chew on that. But this is the thing. when you are starting, there are some relationships that are mutual. So say,
Yes,
for
yes,
instance,
yes.
if you know that you need some help or assistance, you might work with somebody who has a website and you can find a way to have them make some money on the back end. That's reciprocity taking place. You
Yes.
got a business service. They are trying to make a name for themselves. But then it comes a time, and I had to do this not too long ago with somebody. I was like, hey, they were like, hey, this person do this. They will be good for you. I was like, well, no. I said, we have already been in that stage of the game. You are no longer there. And I'm going to share what a great philosopher and a poet once shared in a song. Yesterday's price is not today's price. And so, with that being said, there are people. This is how you know when it's not time to barter no anymore.
Yeah.
Because when you're not faking and lying, people are already investing in you for these prices. So
Thank
it's
you.
one thing if you making some up, but if somebody's already investing this amount with you, and somebody else is saying let's barter because nobody ain't gonna. Basically, they're saying nobody ain't gonna invest that amount with you.
That's
but
a
you
lie.
know that the devil is a liar because people are already investing that in you. So I want people to understand that's how you know how to scale it. But I got to bring this back, Dr. Dunn, because you brought this up earlier, and I can't leave the show without telling this. I went to it. We have a client right now. I went to an investment over 2 years ago. And this is when you're talking about going to conferences or whatnot. I spent over $4,000 to go to this conference. It was the first one. It was only 100 people allowed to be in it. Okay.
Yeah.
But the whole point of that conference was the people who were going to be in that room. Now, it was a lot that I could have did. The flesh got on me, man. You can put this here. You crazy. What do you can watch it on YouTube. Now, I'm telling you what I went through personally. I'm like, man, you could invest in yourself. That's payroll that you're doing here, man. You could be over here. Met somebody, and I told them when I went there, I learned the information, but the people that I met not the other relations I met one connection there that's going to yield. It's going to yield me millions.
Come on now.
That's
Come
right.
on. That's
what saying already. And it's supposed to be some stuff. Did we say it on the Dr. Dunn show that you're supposed to see in the next week or two?
That's wonderful.
And then you're going to see it bust. But the thing is that 4 has allowed for people to pay me 20, 45, 100 grand.
That is great.
Because that one relationship with that one person, but guess what he said? He shared this and he told my wife this. He said, the reason that I invested, he said, I had a lot of company. I could have invested with anybody. He said, the reason that I chose to work with you all is because I saw Darren at that conference.
Oh,
and
yes.
investing in him. And I knew what it cost. I knew what the investment was to be in that room. Mm-hmm. And I want to invest with somebody that, so I'm sharing for the people who are watching this show today. When you're dealing with real people who you can't lie and fake at these little broke networking events where everybody trying to give a card, but they thirsty. Mm-hmm. When you're dealing with real people, it's a stench that'll come off of you if you are not investing in yourself. Yeah. You try to do business with the elite, but guess what? They don't want the lowest amount. They don't want you to save them. They want customer experience instead of customer service. And so when you invest in yourself, other people will invest in you. So I just
hold on. Let me tell y'all something.
Word, man. Yeah.
And let me say this, and Larry, I want to hear from you. You hit it on the head. Why are we talking like we on the phone this midnight? Dr. Don has to keep up because I have a segment coming up at 9. Don't worry about that. It's coming. Y'all need to be listening to what we're talking about. If you invest in yourself, people will invest in you. Mm-hmm. And I want people to know you better hold on, because what was happening is, and I was in a real dark place. This was maybe a couple years ago. Or a few years ago, somewhat, I don't know. But I was like, nobody's, it was just, you're going to have those ups and downs, and the enemy will try to attack you, right? But when people would call me up, like Darren, and I don't know if you remember this, Darren. And Darren said, Dr. Don, God told me to sow a seed into you. Mm. God told me, because at that time, Darren, you didn't know, I was really struggling with some things at that time. I had it was a situation, it was just, but God is good and everybody good, right? But you said, Dr. Don, what is your cash app? I need it now because God told me to sow a seed into what you're doing. I'll do my Facebook Lives. Dr. Don, what's your cash app? We want to send you some money. I have had people send me money, and look, I'm like, okay. And again, you said the market will tell you. Radio is a ministry. I just had to realize what I'm doing is a ministry. I'm not just a speaker, whatever. People see this as a ministry. But they saw me investing in me, right? And that when Larry says, Dr. Don, I bought a table at the Texas Black Expo event. I need you to come. You want a ticket? You want to come? You can sit for free. People see you investing in yourself. They will invest in you, not just money, but I'm in a room connecting. You see what I'm saying? But you have to stop whining and you have to invest in yourself, and other people will see it. But you don't know how much that blessed me, Darren. And I have to say that publicly because I'm just doing what I'm doing. I'm like, and the enemy's like, it's not going to make a difference. Nobody cares. Nobody. And when Darren, and I'm like, I didn't even really know you that well at the time. And I was like, okay. You know, and when when you're doing what you're called to do, people will sow into you, but they first have to see what you're doing.
That's right.
Right? So I just have to say that people will invest in you. Larry, you?
Yeah, no, that's dedication. And when people see it and that passion behind the dedication, I can definitely see that. And like Darren said, Darren has always never had a problem investing to be in the right rooms that has allowed him to grow. I've seen it since day one, just Darren being able to find a way to be in the right rooms, and he does not mind purchasing that ticket. And the $4,000 probably was one of the least expensive tickets and rooms that guy has purchased to be in.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Now let me read this comment. Kim said, it's not demand, it's me. I'm sorry, Kim. I'm sorry, girl. Yeah, she said, I'm a woman. I'm not a man. Clean that up. I'm sorry. It doesn't have a face attached to it, an avatar. She said, yes, people tend to work with people they can trust and who they know have invested in themselves. This is Kim Lotz and not demand. Thank you, Kim, darling. And thank you. She now has her own podcast. So shout out to her, and we wish her the best in that. But Larry, I like what you said. You know, we're going to have to invest in ourselves.
Yeah. We're
going to have to invest in ourselves. The bartering is over. Go ahead and pay for a sweatshirt. Okay. Yeah. Don't be cheap. Let's get that thing together, y'all. We have to invest in each other.
Yeah, and when you invest in yourself and when you invest in someone else's business or you plant a seed in someone else's business, their heart opens up, right? They want to always see you be successful. Anybody that has ever purchased a merch from me or used my real estate services, they could contact me 10 years from now, and I'm going to give them everything. I'm going to give them all the energy and the motivation that I can, right? Because they've had an opportunity to plant a seed in me. And I have people that 20 years ago did business with me, and if they need something at this day, they have a question. Matter of fact, one of our business models when it comes to at Brooks and Davis, when we help nonprofits and sponsor nonprofits, if you've done business with us before, our hearts are always open to you. But if you haven't, we do take that into consideration too.
Yeah. And okay, so this is what I'm going to say, Larry. I need to order some merch. But would you rather, and I'm going to put this out there because I'm just led, right? You know, I'm not led by emotion. Yeah. Would you rather me donate to a grandparent's love or buy some merch?
You know, I'll let you choose. Or both of them are blessings in either direction. Grandparents love, whatever flows in flows directly back out. As soon as someone has a need, we're there immediately.
Okay. I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll let the Spirit lead. But I'll be giving to a grandparents love, or which is his organization, or I'll be buying some merch. I'm led to do that, and I'm not saying it publicly to brag, right? I'm saying you can say, Larry, well, has plenty of money, okay, but don't.
The funny thing,
gotta support.
The funny thing, Dr. Dunn, is even more importantly than you actually doing the financial donation yourself. If you ever did, because Darren has done this for us in the past, that's been truly a great blessing for the nonprofit, is how Facebook allows you to pick an organization to sponsor for your birthday. Oh, that would be even more of a blessing for us if you chose to choose Grandparents Love as a nonprofit for your birthday and then allow your friends and family members to donate. That'd be even more of a blessing to us.
It would, but let me say this. I'm on the board of a nonprofit, so first, I got to handle that, but I will give to you, right? How would it look that I'm supporting another? Hey, but it's still, we can sow a seed into others. But if I do that birthday fundraiser, they might kick me off the board. If who is this? Is this your, But I can still sow a seed into that But
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
but you know, even a referral, I tell people, publish, Darren, 30 days.
Yep.
Self-publish in 30 days. A referral goes a long way.
It
We
does.
know what we do, refer that person.
It does.
right.
Dr. Dunn, I got to share this though, because you brought it up, and I appreciate you sharing that. But it was nothing but love, because that's just the type of person you are. But I want to tell this, because people are hearing the peaches and creams, but I'm going to tell people like this. You talk about that dark place. I'm going to put it out there. I done had repos, loss. I done had huge losses. Mm-hmm. So I want to put that out there for people too. But like you brought up earlier, when you was called, you make yourself of no reputation. You got to understand that what God has called for you to do, don't allow for your faith to waver. You know, if God promised it in his word for you, you keep moving forward. It's just like Jairus. Even though they show up and tell you that your daughter's dead, like Jesus told him, you keep believing. You get the unbelievers out. So you make pivots, you make the adjustments. Every winter, Tyler Perry, I believe it was over 7 years, he was taking an income tax check and investing it all. And nobody showed up for over 7 years.
That's right. He said that.
You see what I'm saying?
He said that.
He was denied over 200 and some plus times before he got the loan. So I want to share with people, you got to be able to have, nobody just make it, most people make it look easy. But at the same time, even if they got the grace for it or they got the anointing for it, but also with the 100-fold comes persecution. So you got to understand that you're going to have to withstand some things to get your breakthrough. And most people are not talking about. So you will see a Larry now, you will see me now, but you don't see where the vehicle is shutting down. And you trying to find a way, or you got to catch a ride with somebody, but you sweating out your shirt that you have on, but then you're trying to make sure you clean yourself up in the restroom to go in there.
Hello.
Yeah. See, that's the part that I got to share with people too. So I've had where my marriage was at strained because I had it where my mama and my folks were thinking, you crazy, you're gonna leave a good job, and now all of a sudden you over here struggling because they can't see the vision. But my thing is this: are you willing to go through some 10 years? To be able to have a life that you desire and a life by design? Or you willing to just settle for 40 or 50 years for something that you hate doing? And now those are the people that you find that are bitter. They typically are not pouring into people because they feel like that it can't be done. So I've been through repo vehicles, lights cut off, having to go cut them back on, lost a house, invested everything in the business. But guess what I do? I do it all over again because, like 50 Cent said, he done had huge loss, but I don't get on it and talk about it. I don't.
You talk about it after the deliverance. See, you don't tell people while you're going through.
I just had somebody not too long ago charge back over $30,000.
Come on.
$30,000. Somebody, I wasn't prepared for that $1,000. I didn't know they were going to charge back like that. But at the same time, I had to be prepared to say, through it all, I'm trusting in God and I'm moving forward. But this has allowed for me to go into a whole new arena, and God has brought the right people in my life. Yeah. Because that's what you got to keep in mind. And your day of contradiction, don't change your confession.
That's right. And people need the transparency. Kim says, speak, Darren. We need, because Larry, I'm sure it was sometimes you were living in the house. You would have to sell. You know what I mean? He had to clean that closet out real quick because he was he living in the house. It is real. Man, it is real. But God, if this is, you think you're going to get it easy? Starbucks was turned down over 100 times for a loan. Nobody ever believed the coffee shop would work. Nobody ever believed in it. Over 100 times they were turned down for a loan. Now we got to get a loan to get a cup of coffee. Okay. Now you gotta sell your house to afford a latte and don't get the grande. Okay, y'all. I'm just saying the venti, because I don't get no little. I get They couldn't even get a loan, and now you have to take out a loan to get a cup of coffee at Starbucks. And I'm not mad at them, but I'm just saying, people, you're gonna have to keep pushing. You're gonna have some hard times, and we all. And I'm so glad that we're admitting being transparent, because nobody learns anything from all these nice little businesses. And when everything's sparkly and nice, you know. I've had to go speak at events and about empowerment, and then I have to get home and get on my knees because I don't know how I'm going to make it, but I'm telling you to make it. You can make it, but I have to figure out how I'm going. Y'all, it's real. You're going to it was tough, y'all. Yeah. tough.
I done ran from the repo man
Yeah.
too, no doubt about
But
it.
let me tell you something. God
Yep.
always provides. He will
Yes,
send
indeed.
people like Darren. And then there was another friend, because he's a friend of mine, but he's a makeup artist. And he said, Dr. Dunn, why didn't you come to me to get your makeup done for this event? I said, I can't afford it. He said, you should have told me. He said, I'll hook you up and it doesn't cost you anything. And then when God restored, right, I poured into him. And then when I went to get my makeup done, he was like, oh, this is free. You're not going, you know what I'm saying? So if you take care, and I was like, okay, you know what I mean? If you take care of your friends, they're going to take care of you. Now, sometimes you say, no, I'll pay. Sometimes you say, okay, I have no, look, put the pride aside. Sometimes, yeah. But I think this is such an important conversation that we are having. And I am excited about it. I was so excited to have you two on. You don't really understand. Because like y'all's time, everybody's time is valuable. But even with the radio show, I want to make sure the experience is here for you. From the email to making sure that you all feel welcome. And let's read this comment, you all. People see the glory, but they don't know your story. That's so true. That's why it's up to us to share.
That's right.
Now, you brothers, I want you to give me any final words on business. Anything you want to say on business, just talk to the people.
You know, I'll say this in my closing. You know, the thing is that, you know, Tupac said it best. Tupac said that I might not be the person that changes the world, but I'm going to spark the brain that will one day change the world, right? And so for me, I believe in being a go-giver, right? You give enough,
oh, that's good.
You'll get things, you'll get the blessings in return. In my entire life of being an entrepreneur, I've been a giver first, and then I've reaped all the benefits and the blessings that come along with that. So
that's good. A servant spirit.
Yeah.
Even when we're sitting down doing a project, I'm praying, Lord, enlarge the territory of this business.
Yes.
Let me serve with excellence. Lord, bless them. You know what I mean? Pray over the clients you're serving. That's Pray right. over the house you're about to sell. Lord Jesus, bless this family. They're about to move into this house. Bless this book, right? Serve. We're serving. Because one day, y'all, I was so tired and I almost had a little attitude. But I was like, wait a minute, because you get so tired as an entrepreneur, you have so much work. And not that I didn't want to do it, but I was like, okay, but I said, you know what, God, I'm serving. And when you have that mindset, you're serving, you can get it done and God will give you the energy. It's your perspective. And I tell God, when you get tired, say, this is what it is. This is what it is. And if you can't handle it now, how are you going to want to enlarge territory? Right. And you can't handle now. You're going to have to do it. And you're going to have to push through. You're going to have late nights. But God is so good. You got to push through. Darren, you?
Yeah, I will start off first with this, Dr. Dunn. I will say that, for one, most people are killing their dreams because you frame your world with your words.
Oh, yes.
Most people are killing their dreams because they are speaking and saying, I don't care if you don't have it, but you don't say,
That's
I can't afford it. I can't have it right now. Not because you'll never have it. So you need to speak. It might not make sense for me to actually do that right now, but I will get that done. So you got to reframe your words, number one. Most people think these simple little hacks that don't cost you nothing. But at the same time, you putting that into your subconscious mind. And then whatever you do or whatever you're saying, faith comes by hearing.
Oh,
so
yes.
Spirit comes by hearing as well. So who told you that you got to wake up and listen to CNN and Fox News and all this death? How are you going to be inspired and you don't learn about people burning up, wars, somebody done had a kid molested, and you heard that as soon as you got up in the morning?
That'll mess you up. Sometimes I don't even watch the news. I don't even know. I don't even want to take it today. I don't know what's going on, but I don't want to know.
Yeah, because now the world has told you that it's a recession. So without you knowing it, you are repelling success.
Yes.
But there are other people who are having their best weeks, best days, best
months. That's right.
So you got to make sure that when we talk about on demand, you need to start creating a smorgasbord of success that's on demand of what you listen to. And so you got to go there. And the next thing I would say is you got to connect, invest to be in the right rooms. Because if you get with the right people, birds of a feather flock together, you expect to be able to get eagle pay when you hanging around with chickens. Because the thing is they're not going to be able to understand the language. So when you invest with the right people, I just had a friend. I'm not saying this is everybody because you might not be there right now, but a good friend of mine in Canada, he tagged me in a post just a couple of days ago where he said, I invested $400,000 to build relationships.
Oh,
that type of language. I'm not saying it. yours might be $100 right now. It might be $500 right now. Whatever. It might be getting a part of a book club. But
you're gonna have to, yeah.
I have to share that, because before you try to do this, if you get with the right people, they don't mind investing in what you do.
That's right.
It's not as hard for you to actually accumulate wealth, because when everybody around you understand you are the person who does this, they're going to invest in you. But you're hanging around people and they ain't got nothing, and you don't have anything, and then they don't have a mindset, but you still trying to make it with those group of people. You can come back and do something, do a charity like Larry or something. But for you to get out, you got to get around the right people. And that might be traveling. That might be catching a flight. Whatever you need to do to get around the right people. They don't mean aimlessly just throw money at whoever say they a guru.
That's right. That's right.
Do your due diligence. Pray about it. See God, he going to give you discernment and wisdom. But you need to get around the right person, or whatnot, like the Queen of Sheba did with Solomon, that take your kingdom to the next level.
Yeah. Right. Because don't you think, because look, let me say this. Put your mask on, be safe. I know the monkeypox and all of that, but it's always going to be some kind of, and I'm not telling people not to be safe, people. The Dr. Don Radio Show wants you to be safe, right? But you put your mask on and go to other places. Put that mask on, even if you're the only one, because everybody act like it doesn't exist. I don't know what's going, but that's another show for another time. Put your mask on. Go into some places. You're going to have to start going into spaces. You're going to, and Dr. Cindy Trim, if you don't know who she is, powerful woman of God, she says there are only some blessings you're going to receive by physically being in the space. Virtually is not going to get it. Yep. You're going to have, because some people, like Darren said, are going to want to touch on you. They're going to want to see who you really are. They'll see you on social media, but some people don't make decisions off social media. They're like, oh, who is he about in person? Let me see this event Darren's having. Let me see what he's about. So we have to be mindful. And I like that you said spirit of wisdom and discernment. You don't just put your money with everyone. You don't just put your money with everyone. We have been on an hour and 14 minutes. Larry and Darren have to go because they could have been making $2 million in the hour they took. But I thank you, right? But you're serving here, right?
Yes, indeed. And spending time with you, Dr. Dunn, is never a price value that we put on there. It's just an opportunity to really spend some time with a friend. It's a relationship.
Yeah. But you know what I find? And I'm going to say this. Don't you find, like, seriously, you all could have said no, right? Because you don't have to say yes to everything. You don't really say yes to everything, and you don't have to.
I don't.
But prayerfully, this is a valuable time for you, right? Yeah. This is valuable. I want my guests to be blessed. If they hear you talking about yourself and we're tagging you, hopefully they'll say, well, let me see what Darren's talking about. Let me see what, right?
Yeah.
We try to bring substance to the show, and I want my guests to feel like their time it's been valuable for them. Yep. And prayerfully it has been. I tell you, nobody better I could have than you all. I'm telling you, when it comes to business,
thank you.
Love it. So Dr. Don has to go because I'm on till 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. So don't go anywhere. You know how we do. I'm going to give you my 5 minutes of favor in this final hour, and then we will end this show in prayer. That's what we have to do. Brothers and sisters, I want to thank Darren Palmer. I want to thank Larry W. Wealth Brooks for being here. No YouTube, no Facebook. My video is not blocked. Anyway, that's another. I'll call Mark on that later. But anyway, it was a hater, y'all. Somebody was hating. Oh, Dr. John's on. Let me report her. I'm telling you, these people, whoever that was, the enemy will not win. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I gotta go. We gotta go. The Dr. Don Radio Show, no judgment, just realness. God bless you, Darren. God bless you, Larry. I will be getting my merch or giving to grandparents love. God bless you both.